Welcome back to MCJ's Art Studio. It's Tuesday. That means it's podcast day. Before we start, please subscribe to the channel so that we can grow into bigger and better things. Yeah, that's what we want to do right here. All right. Please and thank you. Okay, so today I wanted to address a particular. That is something that has going on each and every single platform. It's like a merry-go-round. Here and there, you still have the same question that any artist is asking themselves. Where are the collectors at? Where are these art lovers? Where are these people who want to buy my art? Where are they? Where are they? Where? That is a very valid question. However, first of all, what I already want to make is a disclaimer. And I am quick to make disclaimers because in this particular area, this particular climate, time, zeitgeist that we are living in, people can take things very personally and literally. I don't know where that is coming from, but that to me is quite alarming. But let's just put that to them. The disclaimer that I want to make is if you are a hobbyist and you really don't care about the collectors, the buyers, or whatever it is that you do, you simply do art for fun, this is not the podcast for you. You can listen to it, but because your attention, your goal is somewhere else, it's just to create art because this is something that you do on the side, maybe a little side hustle, it's just to relax, this information won't pertain to you. And that might for you be a good thing, all right? That might be a good thing. Exclusion doesn't always mean that it is something negative. So this might not be the podcast. This podcast is really for those who are seriously doing this because their job, maybe you're doing it part-time, full-time, or you're growing into being a professional. So this is for you because you probably already have been looking for your art audience. You already have been creating a platform. You are focusing on creating a community and getting the audience towards you, getting that attention towards you, because that is the name of the game. How do you get people, especially on social media platforms, to see you? One of the things that I want to direct you is when you are in the professional business of being an artist, you are extending your art practice, selling your work, and you are also partially or fully responsible for doing that. So you have your own POS, point of sale. That can be your web shop, that can be maybe a studio. So I'm also making disclaimer to those artists that already have an art gallery that's representing them. That is a good thing. Kudos to you. You are hopefully winning. You're hopefully winning. Hopefully. But for those who are partially or fully using their own studio or their own website or even social media as the POS, and this is a very important question. How do I get the attention of people directed towards me? That is like a tango with the weirdest steps that I've ever lived. And the game is ever changing. The rules are constantly changing when you are using social media or even advertising as the tool to get the people to you. Now, some people are more successful than others in that. And everybody has something to say. Everybody has a course, an ebook on how they can get you to get your customers to you. I don't. But I definitely have some pointers that now that I can look back and have like an A/B testing, meaning you test one particular scenario against another scenario. So scenario A against scenario B, I can definitely tell you something. All right, so let's get into it. First of all, and I'm going to take my notebook here because I got a notebook. But first of all, what I consider to be very important is that if you are in a professional mind space of where you really want to sell your work, so because of this is your living, this is your livelihood, you are creating your business based on something that you love doing, you actually have to think that way as well. That is an extra head that you have on you. All right? Now, unless you have somebody else or a team of people that are supporting you and they are helping you to run the business, you are a solo entrepreneur, let's say a solo business owner, you really have to put that hat on. You have to own it. One of the things that I really see a lot frequently is that people have a hard time switching between them. And I'm here telling you that you don't have to switch. You're both. You're wearing both hats. You're wearing the hat of an artist and a business owner. You're wearing both. It makes it hard because it limits that creative juice. It can limit the artistic flow, but that is something that you have to be able to regulate. You have to be able to regulate that and have moments where you fully can organize yourself to have the attention, the love, and the focus on whatever it is that you want to create. Having a business is not easy. And that is maybe also the reason why a lot of artists are still choosing to go for a gallery as a point of sale, because it just takes a lot of the pressure away of having to deal with all of these points when it's owner, or have maybe a agency. An agency is also a great way to have somebody represent you and present you to collaborators who want to have your work. Many different avenues that you want to get into. But if you're not in that particular space, I do want to urge you to really own that hat of being a business owner. There's nothing dirty about it. It's not a dirty word, not at all. And I think it also kind of stems from the place where artistry and money are still being condemned to be in one room. But that might be a subject for another podcast. When you are looking for your people, for your tribe, for your audience, for your customers, for your collectors, you cannot be afraid to put on that hat. So when we get into the conversation of where our audience is, we actually have to ask ourselves, who is our audience? And we have to be honest about the answer to that as well. Not everybody does it like you. Not everybody is interested in what you have to offer. Not everybody will be in line of what you stand for. If you have a hard time determining for yourself who you are, what your art practice is, what is your statement, what is it that you offer, and for whom it is for, you can imagine that whomever you are attracting will not resonate with you. Either they are confused or they are like, well, yeah, looks cute, but I don't know what to do with it. It's going to be hard to try to persuade somebody the offer that you have, simply because you don't have an understanding of who you are. And maybe you do, but you also have a hard time wording it, packaging it, right? Presenting it as a nice package so that people can see, oh, okay, I see the offer. Let me look into that. So a lot of times you have to ask yourself, who is my customer and who is not part of the club, okay? Who is watching from the outside and who can join the party? And that is, again, a favor. Exclusion in this case is a favor, because you cannot satisfy everybody with what it is that you're creating. I think one downside that social media has led us to believe is that in order for us to get everybody's attention, we have to create everything, or each and every single time. The goal that you can look for, and when you are open for it, can actually help you, is to create your lane and listening to how people respond to what it is. That's kind of hard, because none of us, or most of us, are not marketeers. Most of us are not, we're not advertisers, we're not copywriters. That takes a little bit of time to see how people respond to what it is that you offer and what that leads to. So I want you to really think about who you are and how people respond to that, all right? How to get the attention of them. It differs from platform, it differs from tool that you're using. When you're advertising, you're basically, I'm paying to show where I am, what I have to offer. What is my offer? And based on that offer, people can respond to you. So you're making the visibility of what it is that you have to offer more available. You're putting it more to the forefront. When it comes to marketing, it's how you package it. How do you sell? And marketing tools that we can use. Now let's go to social media, because that is one of the tools that is, of course, affordable. It's basically free 99, people. It is free 99, but it's also one of them that is very fickle. Each and every single platform comes with their pros and cons. For instance, Instagram has shown that it has slowly moved itself from a social community space to a marketing, where you constantly have to go by the rules in order to get the attention from potential advertisers that they earn their money. If you want to have access to that, either you play by the rules and by the frequency that you have to do it, or put up your ad and have people see who you are, and also do it for a certain purpose. Maybe you want to have more followers, maybe you have more engagement, maybe you want to lead people to your POS, your point of sale, whatever reason that might be. But here's the thing that I've noticed when it comes to how to get people's attention. And I've read that in the book of Seth Godin. This is marketing. And what he actually explains in that, and I'm not saying this verbatim, but in one of the chapters that he talked about to get people's attention, to grow a considerable amount of people around your product or your service, is that you can buy your way into it, but that doesn't allow you to see what it is that people actually are willing to give to you, right? It is a relationship that you have to build with. And the moment that you quickly get people's attention, that is exactly what you're going to get back in return for that. It might serve you better to focus on having a community of a considerable amount. In his book, he talks about, you got to at least have like 1,000 people following you, coming towards you, and engaging people to do that. So your story has to talk about not only what it is that you have to offer, but why do you offer it, and why is it for you? And that you are also strong enough to say, this is not for them. You need early adopters. You need people who are willing to advocate for what it is. Enthusiasts, right? Somebody sees your art and they are willing to talk about it to someone else. That type of engagement that somebody else is willing to share, repost, save, that sort of thing, you can't get that with advertising. You can't get that with putting an ad up. So an ad helps from time to time, and in certain cases it's just needed. But that engagement where people are just diehards, the early adopters, the enthusiasts, that will make that community grow because they will do the talking for you, word of mouth. I mean, that is just grandiose type. That is something that you have to put time into. You have to nurture that. You will not grab each and every single thing that promises you to get a quick result. That's a mistake that I've made years ago. And I want to give that to you as well. You're going to be more deliberate and intentional of who and what and how you use the tool to get people's attention. Now, one addition that I want to bring to that particular point is that we should not underestimate the fact that social media is actually about attention. Focus. I need your attention. I need your focus. Now, I know this is a very corny example that I'm going to take, but most of us are very aware with Gary V, right? Gary Vaynerchuk. And one of the things that always stuck in my mind about Gary Vaynerchuk and all of his electric, energetic videos is the fact that, how do I catch your attention? I need your attention. I need to know where you are so that I can bring and put my offer in front of your face. And I need to know I need to study you so that I know how I can put it in front of you. That has always stuck with me. Social currency, I don't know if that is a term that he has used, but it's a term that I hear a lot. Social currency should not be underestimated. The power of it. Social currency, the social value that your message has, these days can be very powerful. It allows people to go viral, but it can also allow you to find the right message and how you need to package that. Why a certain message won't work on an Instagram or a Facebook, but it will work on TikTok, simply because the social value currency on these platforms is different. But each and every single platform has social value. Everything, anywhere. The social value currency is these days intention. And I would even add to it engagement. If I can engage with your content because you get that I just need to have the message in a minute, and you have been able to tell me that in a minute, then I believe in what it is that you have to say. If you're capable to catch my attention with your knowledge and you package it in such a way that you have an aha moment in under a minute, then you have my attention. I'm going to follow you, or I'm going to even go to your website. I'm going to go to that course that you have, maybe an art course that you have. I will go to your Patreon because I do believe that you have a lot of information because you said so. Because you said so. The social currency, the social value that you have to offer, valuable. Now here's the frustrating part of social media, and maybe any other marketing tool that you're using. It is the door to your house. And in general, What I have for the last 2 years really have been focusing on is I cannot build my house on somebody else's land. Social media advertisements, promotions and things like that. These are like, how do I make my door as pretty as possible so that you want to knock on it and come in? That is basically how I'm using it. That's why these days it is so important for artists now to have a website. Even if you're not selling anything, even if it's just for the promotion who you are, even if you're working with an art gallery, even if you're working with an art agency, to have a point of sale, point of reference of this is my website, this is where I am, is valuable. So now that you know where they are, how you got them, and how you're about to do that, you need to also keep them in. That email is important. That's the true social. The email, people. The email. We are now learning that. We are now learning that in order for us to drive our audience towards us to a point of sale, but also a point of community and peace and calmness where they can be themselves and we can interact with them, you need to kind of filter them out of the bunch. And you have to put them in a place and communicate with them now in a way, in a level that is easier to do that. That's why I constantly say to people, subscribe, use an email, give me your email so that I can send you the newsletter. Now, will there be sale in newsletter? Of course. Like I already said in the beginning, you're a business owner. You're going to sell. But here's the thing. When people make that decision to give you their email address, they already now have been convinced by the message that you have. So they are open for your offer. They are open for your story. They made that decision to do that. And that is quite hard nowadays to do that because people get bombarded with a lot of messages, even in their mailbox. So when they make that decision to say, yes, I want to get your information, use it. Because let me remind you of this, right? You can't go wrong with advertising, billboards, banners, street advertising, basically. You can never go wrong with that. But that is, of course, if you have the budget and if you have a lot of time to make a strong enough presence so that people can notice you. You can never go wrong with that particular advertising, but most artists don't have that. It can be difficult, but it's not impossible. Let me just say that because we are, listen, here in MCJ Studios Artists, we think in what do we need to do to make it happen, all right? And if that's going to take a little bit of time to get there, I also want you to allow yourself to think in that, in a timeline that it allows you to get there, all right? Okay. So you can never go wrong with street advertising or advertising in newspapers, people writing articles for you. You can never go wrong with magazines, interviews. You never go wrong with that. Television, radio, you never can go wrong with that. When it comes to social media, because it's free, everybody can have access to it. Everybody can make an account. You really would want to focus on it what do I need to do? Where do I need to be on this platform? How do I get to the people once I found them? And how do I then divert their attention to the place where I can meet them one-on-one, which is your website or a portfolio or to a newsletter. These days, it's even not necessary to have a website. Not really, right? It's not necessary to have a www.yourstudio.com. It's not really that necessary because there are so many great options for you to get to the people, to get your information out there. But it's easy to have a website because then you can also sell your products, whatever it is that you have to offer. When you are in that particular space, social media, your attention and focus and dedication should be to building a community that is like you, like us. And I make that reference to Seth Godin. I really want to urge you to read that book. Read that book by Seth Godin. This is marketing. Make it your business. What if you're just not the type of artist who's into that? You're not into the advertising, not even, paper advertising, PR and all of that. What if I'm not just into that? I want to let you know that's fine. That's fine. Go for an agency, go for an art gallery, go for someone who might be your partner and they take that from you, right? So that you can only focus on that. That is a great solution. Just know, ain't nobody going to do that for free $99. So if you have the time and the will, and also like a little bit of curiosity, do it as much as you can yourself. But if you just don't have the time, or you now have come to a point where you as an artist have become so big that you have to focus on, just producing art. You just don't have the choice. You have to, focus on what is important to you and what, is going to get the people in. You have to do all of that. If you're more of an independent type of artist, or you're more in the beginning stage that you're not signed to anybody yet, you're not having collaboration with a particular party to sell your work, to promote your work, to advertise for you, to do the PR, you will be the person. Okay? Or maybe a very sweet friend or partner that's willing to look with you in that particular way. Good. So we are at the end of this particular podcast. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know what it is that you think of it. Put it here below. You already know how. All right. And I will promptly get to you all. Do subscribe, like, and share this content on my YouTube channel. To get more information or behind the scene, you can go to my Patreon, because I have there more behind the videos that will be posted in the coming time. And of course, subscribe to the newsletter so I can be up and close to you. See you next time. Blessings. Bye, y'all.